Hi, in this video we're going to be looking at the vertical figure 8 for hips. This is a movement for belly dance that looks like this. So we have a lot of different 8 movements that we use in belly dance. You may have already watched my video on horizontal figure 8s. But in this case, we're going to be drawing the 8 in a vertical fashion. So to start, we're going to have our feet slightly turned out. So from a parallel position, we would just open the toes a little bit. And this turnout is coming from actually our inner thighs here, opening, and our hips pushing open. It doesn't have to be very turned out. It's not like ballet or anything. It's just a little bit. So not parallel. And we're actually going to have our feet about hip distance apart for this. So we don't want our feet together. So from this position, first I want you to just slide your hips to one side. So this is just a horizontal hip slide, keeping our chest in the same place, keeping our legs straight, just sliding the hips. And let's try the other side. Sliding the hips out, back to center, out, back to center. Great, so let's slide out to one side. And now from here, we're going to lift the heel on that side. So of course, as you lift your heel, your hip is going to come up, right? So here I have slid my hip out, and now I'm going to lift up. When you lift up, your weight is going to be on the ball of your foot around about the 4th toe. So you don't want to be rolling to the outside of your foot. You don't want to be pushing your ankle out. That's very dangerous. You want to make sure your ankle is directly over the foot and pointing in the same direction as the toes. But the weight is a little more towards the outside toes. And then from there, we're going to keep the heel up, but slide the weight to the inside of the foot. So actually, I can show you this part of the foot right here, the inside of the big toe. So again, that's sliding from about the 4th toe to the inside of the big toe, and keeping the heel up as you do this. So you notice you go from a straight ankle to an ankle that's turned inwards, pushing out and in, out and in. And let's drop that foot, and let's try the other side. So again, sliding the hips out, lifting the heel, but keeping the ankle straight. Weight is around close to about the 4th toe, and then bringing the weight in to the inside of the big toe, keeping the heel in the air. So that's going to bring our hip in while our heel is in the air. So coming in, coming out. So we are using the change in weight and the rolling along our foot to change the position of the hip, because the hip is attached to the foot. So when we move the foot, as long as we're keeping our leg straight and the leg is not interfering, the hip is going to come along for the ride. And let's bring the leg down. So we are going to slide our hips out, lift the heel off the floor, bring the foot, the weight on the foot inside, drop the heel, and as we drop, we're going to be already sliding our hips out to the other side. From there, again, we're going to lift. Bring the weight to the inside of the foot. Drop. And our hips slide out to the first side. Lift the heel. Weight in. Drop and slide. Lift the heel. Coming in. Drop and slide. Heel, in, drop and slide. Heel, in, drop and slide. Now we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to smooth it out. So when we smooth it out, you will notice that this whole movement of bringing the weight inside, dropping and sliding the hip out all happens kind of overlapping each other. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's more of an coming around and through, around and through. So that's how you're going to design your 8. You can think of drawing the 8 or an infinity. If you prefer to think of an infinity, here we're doing the diagonal part. And here, as I push my hip out and lift it up, that's the circular part of the 8. And now here again, I'm swooping down, coming up, in, drop, slide. Heel up, in, drop, slide. Up, in, drop, slide. Up, in, drop, slide. And it's that same movement, just repeated, around and around. It's very important here to keep your legs straight, because if you start bending your legs, that's going to change the 8. There are versions of 8s that use the knees, which we're not going to look at in this video. That is another way to do a vertical figure 8. But in this case, we are only going to be using our feet. So you want to make sure that the legs stay completely safe. And finally, we can, of course, reverse the direction of the 8. So to do that, instead of starting with a slide, we're going to start with a lift while the weight is on the inside of the foot. So we're just going to reverse everything. We're going to push our weight out to the outside of the foot, the fourth toe, not the outside. You want to, again, make sure you're not breaking that ankle, but the ankle should be straight. And then we're going to drop as we slide our hips out. And then lift the opposite hip. Weight is on the inside. Weight comes to the outside. Heel stays up. And now the heel drops with a slide. So in this case, we're kind of pushing out, over and around. Coming up, pushing out and down. Up, out, and down. So this would be a vertical 8 down, or it's also called a Maya. The vertical 8 up, as far as I know, does not have another name. So you can do these 8s going down, going up, or playing around, some down and some up. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you liked it, please give the video a like. Please subscribe to the channel to see more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and happy practicing.